Richard, here we are again talking about this interminable Glencore Xstrata deal. Way back in February we said it made sense. Why did it make sense? It's the only deal in town. Glencore owns too much of Xstrata for anyone else to be involved. This deal had to be done. If it wasn't now, it would be at some point in the future, so you might as well get on with it. The ratio looked fine. The retention payments were a side issue. That's what we argued at the time. And isn't it extraordinary that 7 months later, we're still talking about retention payments in a deal of this size? What a mess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are two things here. One is that that certainly seemed de minimis at the time, and I think the thinking was you could buy a decent penthouse in Manhattan for about the price of the total retention. So we tried to keep that in perspective. The thing that's really happened here is that some fund managers, some institutional investors, in their mandate, in their desire to look transparent in front of their own investors, have this thing about pay, and they don't like retention. So you might find a BlackRock in that bucket. And then on the other hand, the one thing that no one had in their scripts was Qatar Holding arriving and putting its tank on the lawn with in fact the barrel pointing the wrong way. So they were not expected to come in and really stymie the whole deal. So if you like, the deal has been hijacked by two things. One is now pay has become a headline issue, and then just is the deal going to happen or not? So the guys have had to think again about restructuring this deal. This is now the third iteration.
And of course the market thinks a lot more likely that it's going to happen now. Xstrata share price has moved up in the markets today. What's the likelihood now, and what are the obstacles that this deal has to get past?
The ratio is pointing towards the deal happening at last, assuming that there's no stock to borrow, so that probably the ARBs are out of this or looking rather uncomfortable. This has still got to go through a few mechanical hoops. So you now get to vote on, do you want the deal to happen but you like the pay? Then you can tick that, or you can vote for the deal to happen but you don't like the pay. And then there are a couple of subsidiary votes, but basically, and of course you can vote for the deal not to happen at all. But then if you like, the corral of the cattle going down the channel, you vote on pay, and then finally on whether the deal happened. So there's still room for people to make protest votes that could derail it, but I think broadly you need 16% for this to happen. Assuming the Qataris are broadly happy, this is pretty much home and dry. There will be a lot of noise though, and there already is.
And then we probably move on to the regulatory aspect of things. How sure are you that that'll get passed?
That should be relative plain sailing. I think the Commission has seen Xstrata and Glencore more or less as one entity all along because of the Glencore stake. They have yet to notify, I believe, so there are still those hoops to go through. But seeing this happen or complete any time this year looks to be optimistic. So this is just rather a slow burn thing. Lots of totally unnecessary mistakes that have been made along the line. The board claims it's tried to be ultra transparent and prioritise governance, but this looks like a shambolic mess.
A complete mess. I mean, this should have been one of the easier deals in town to do. Hopefully we're getting towards the end of it. Let's hope so. Thanks very much, Richard.